that I was doing when I turned it on? What? Forward collision warning. What? Forward collision into what? Air? Hello again, YouTube, and welcome back to the Tesla question. Yes, it's Bank Holiday Monday. I'm recording YouTube. This is work. I'm working on a bank holiday for your viewing pleasure. Well, as part of my service to YouTube, I also quite like to be responsive to what people say. And let's just say I've had a request, which is, can I please drive my car using autopilot on normal roads and stop faffing around with the speed? Why won't the car just speed up and slow down itself? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's show you what danger looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive from here, Pennon, back to where I live, and I'm going to go on a bit of a circuit, so some B roads and then some longer, faster A roads, and we're going to see what the car is like on full autopilot on those different types of roads. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that there are going to be points where I have to switch the thing off or I have to adjust the speed because I don't want to die. And yes, that does sound like I'm exaggerating the peril, but believe me, I'm not. Autopilot on standard roads in the UK is not good. It's great where it's a fast, sweeping road. Anything less than that, less great, as we're going to find out. So I'm going to try and drive on autopilot as much as is humanly possible over the next 20 minutes or so. Let's get on with it. And there are places where you can't use autopilot, and how can I put it? I'm in one of them, right? This is not a place to use autopilot. And you can only use autopilot when you get a little steering wheel symbol that comes up on the screen, which we don't have now because the car barely thinks that this is a road. I mean, to be honest, this barely is a road. So I do understand why it's objecting. Actually, that's quite warm. Let's turn that down. We're going to have to shunt our way in. If you could turn it on, or if we had full self-driving like in America, how would it get on going through here where you've got literal houses sticking out into the roadway and parked vehicles and no kind of markings of any description? How would full self-driving America cope with this? Because I'm honestly not sure, and it's really not helpful that he's parked there because that is the point where we need to be able to swing, and I've got a car that's got a turning circle of a super tanker, and I've really had to think about my line to get it round there. Is this guy slowing because someone's coming down the hill? Ah, poo, they are as well. Right, okay. This is, oh, hang on, nope, we're both going up. Okay, yep, got it. Still haven't got the steering wheel symbol, but I really wouldn't expect it at this point. We've not got a centre line, we've not really got any of those things. So we're going to head towards Macduff, and then when we get down onto the faster A98, we're going to turn in the opposite direction and then come back this way. So this section, I'm not expecting autopilot to be on at all because there isn't really anything for it to latch onto. Is it supposed to go towards the left, in the middle, over on the right? It doesn't actually know, which is a pity because look at it. I mean, this is fantastic scenery to be testing autopilot in, even if, as at the moment, autopilot is wussing out and saying, no, 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 we can't possibly do that. Once we get up the hill, we do then get some slightly better roads and we're going to stick the thing on and it's going to be a challenge. It's definitely going to be a challenge, but that's the challenge that I've been set by my loving audience, and I'm happy to try and kill myself for your visual pleasure. So let's see what happens when we switch the thing on as soon as we've got a center line and it actually lets me. It came on very, very, very briefly there, but it was very, very briefly. So we're going to have to hang on and see when it comes back. We clear the summit, and in a minute we actually get a center line. Here you go, up here, and hopefully it's going to let me turn it on. And there you go. So we're going to set it to 50, right? It's a 60 limit, so 50 you think might be quite slow. It really isn't on here. 50 is probably hoofing it a little bit. But hey, I've been told, Ian, stop trying to adjust the speed, just let the car drive and let the car do its own thing. Okay, let's put it this way. I've got my foot over the brake pedal. Yeah, I've already had to intervene because it really wasn't doing. Now it's got curvature assist active. So yes, auto steer temporarily unavailable. What's it going to do? See, I've had to knock the whole thing off because it's not actually working, and the steering symbol has gone anyway. Because again, just let the car drive in. Well, there is sort of a line. I think it's kind of eroded away, but either way, it's not having it, is it? So we're going to wait until it comes back on, and then we're going to have another go. Here we go. Nope, didn't like that. Come on. Nope, it's thinking about it. It's not coming back, but it is thinking about it. Anyway, now that is something that has been happening to me quite a lot on recent software updates, which is it starts shouting and nagging where it thinks you're driving off the road, and you're really not, right? You're not driving off the edge of the road in either side. I definitely wasn't. Yeah, that felt really uncomfortable, to be honest, going around there. It should slow down for the car. Yes, it is. I'm having to go back onto the throttle to make it speed back up again, because otherwise it was going to sit there and wait. So it's not responsive enough. This is quite narrow. Oof. I would have moved a little bit further left, but again, I'm not allowed to intervene unless I think I'm about to die. Hopefully you'll be all right if I intervene if I think that I'm about to die. Dear me. So we're doing 50 in a 60 limit. We're kind of wandering into the center, and now we're wandering off to the center again. Yeah, it doesn't really quite know where it's supposed to be, because as you can see, the lines are a little bit pregnant. Not pregnant, what am I saying? It was moving me into all kinds of exciting places. Okay, we're hopefully going to have something a little bit more sensible for some of this. Let's have a go. Right, there is a really sharp bend coming up. Let's see what it does. Well, I am ready to jam the brakes on, because there is no way. Yep, I mean 50. It's now, yeah, it's braking quite hard, but not braking hard enough. So again, I can't stay on autopilot, or I would have been in the field. Yeah, I can see the bend is coming up. The mapping can see that the bend is coming up, but the car isn't actually doing anything, and that, I think, is a large part of the problem. So again, I've set it to 50. It's a 60 limit, and okay, this bit is straight, so maybe I could go faster, but there is quite a complex double junction thing coming up here where people poke their noses out, as you're about to see this guy do, possibly, right? They do poke their noses out, and you've just got to be careful. So remember, this is autopilot. This is not full self-driving. This is not the car supposedly doing what I keep seeing Hallmark's catalogue and other people doing, driving around Los Angeles on normal roads. This is these are very normal roads, but this is something slightly different. So again, we're going way too fast into there. Curvature assist, I mean, what's it doing? Yeah. What is it doing? So we're now at, I mean, there's nothing coming, and I'm watching, but look, you see what it's doing? I've got to then wrestle it back onto the correct side of the road because it's doing utterly stupid things. okay? Right, forget it. Let's get down. Let's get down here and try that one again, shall we? Ah, oh, dear me. Being scared is fun. What I am going to do is pull over at the bottom because the guy I said might stick his nose out has followed behind and is right on my chuff. So I'm going to let him past, because then we can do experiments and not be upsetting anybody. So let's just pull ourselves slightly off, let him past. There we go. Thank you very much. And then we'll carry on. Nope. So I'd like to do autopilot testing on all of this, but I can't because the car doesn't want to let me do it. But that's what I was at. That was the request that I had. That's what I was told. Please just let the car do its own thing on autopilot. Yeah? Let it do its own thing. Well, I will when it will actually re-engage. Like now, finally, okay. And I've just set it at the speed that I was doing when I turned it on. What? Forward collision warning. What? Forward collision into what? Air? Please. Right, I'm going to set the speed now to 50. Again, I think we can do 50 for a chunk of this down here. Right? But this is, I think, a prime example as to where autopilot isn't actually a sensible thing to do, because it's like I'm wrestling with the car. Yeah, this is not a driving aid, this is a driving peril. I'm wrestling with it. I'm intervening like I was a learner driver and this was lesson 1 and I've been stuck in this car on this road and told to just get on with it and see what happens. I am the instructor having to wrestle control back from my learner driver car, which is doing the stupid. I mean, look, what speed does it think it wants to be doing around there, right? Bonkers. Again, I've got to intervene because I don't want to die. That would have just gone flying off. That's what, 2, maybe 3 times already that I've had to do a hard intervention before the thing flung me off the road, right? And we've only been going for 6 miles. And all right, so some of that road wasn't really suitable for autopilot, but where I've been videoing it and I've been intervening, that's the kind of roads that there are in this country. So I'm stress testing autopilot, and this was one of the videos that the comments came up on, when I'm stress testing autopilot, and the request was, can you stop intervening, right? Because with respect to it, you're overriding it. We want to see what it's like. Well, even when we went around the bend then with the Mercedes coming the other way, I'm pulling quite hard on the steering wheel just to make sure that it doesn't drift me. Because it's done that now a few times. So 50 round here, all right, just about okay. And it was just about okay. I think we'll be okay for a fair chunk of the run along here to the A98 turn. We shall see. But okay, I'm not having to intervene on it now. But then again, I'm not exactly driving dramatically fast for large chunks of this road. It's just when you get to the turns and to the pinch points and to the dips that are hidden, where the car can't see them apparently. Those are the bits where autopilot just can't cope. So here's my next question, right? If autopilot struggles to go around a bend like we did there, where I was uncomfortably over towards the centre line, I would have been further left, but the car let me go. If this is what autopilot does outside of North America, then, yeah, again, intervene before I go off. Then what is the car going to be like on full self-driving on roads like this? And okay, as I keep saying to people, it's an entirely different software stack. It's not the same as this with a bit added on. That's FSDC, the full self-driving capability lie, and it is a lie, that Tesla keeps selling in Europe. That is wholly different to proper FSD in America. I know that. But how much more refined is that software stack compared to this one? Because it's got to be hugely, hugely better than what we have, because otherwise, frankly, I mean, what, again, forward collision warning, yeah? Warning of what? What precisely did it think that I was about to collide into as I drove along this empty road and it was pretty straight? I mean, air? What? A low-hanging cloud? What? Seriously, I don't get it. I just think the amount of learning that is going to be needed to make full self-driving actually work in Europe is massive, and I do mean massive, right? An awful lot of improvements and interventions are going to be needed. So I'm just going to knock it off now, because I'm going down here and I'm turning left, and I actually want a break from it for just a few seconds to take a breather, where I don't have to worry about my lunatic learner driver, and then off we can go. And there is good news for people who want to believe that Autopilot is great on this kind of road. There is now traffic ahead of me, and when I catch up to the traffic, the car will base its speed on the other vehicles that are in front. And actually, it's quite good at doing that. If it can read other vehicles slowing down, then it will slow down. And other vehicles tend not to want to die, and therefore pick a speed round bends, which is safe. And again, I'm holding onto the steering wheel there just to make sure that it doesn't do anything completely silly. But other cars tend to set a safe speed to go around bends, and therefore we will slow down, and therefore we will be going around bends at a safe speed. As you saw back on the other road, by itself, Autopilot will not select a safe speed to go around a bend. It will basically hurl itself towards a bend, see it but not do anything, and then kind of panic, yeah? Or actually, a lot of the time, not panic. If I'm not sat there ready to overrule it, then we'd have been off into a field or into somebody's garden, or over off the edge of the road and away several times back there. The only reason it's going this slowly now is because of the people in front. That's the only reason it's going this slowly. Otherwise, we would have belted around there. So look, I'm now following people, and this is fine. It's slowed itself down to 50 miles an hour, which again is a good feature, although to be honest, 50 is maybe a bit toppy as you go up here, but I'm following the traffic and it's legal. And there's a really tight bend coming up, and the car is going to do a great job going around it, because it's going to read the people in front slowing down. Whoop. Oof. Too close to the curb. Right, you saw that? I really, really had to pull to stop it from going up the curb, okay? Yeah. And we're doing 32 around that bend because of curvature assist, where the global UNECE regulations mean that there's only a certain amount of attack that you can actually have on the steering on this level of automation under the current rules. And basically that means that you have to slow down far more on some of these bends, right? I can go 45 around here and I'm doing 38 because that's all the car is actually able to do. So we're losing one of the cars that's pulling off. I'm not going to do anything. So it's accelerating back up relatively slowly, but it is accelerating. And all right, that's a good thing. And now it's set itself to 60, as you can see. So we've gone from 50 into 60. It is speeding itself back up, and we're now pursuing the guy in front. Well, the good news is that a lot of this road is actually fast and sweeping, unlike the other one. Although some of these bends are a bit more tight and sweeping, so I am ready with the brakes and my hands on the steering wheel to be able to tell it off. Stop it. take over, and I'm going to be like that all the way down. But as we catch up on the traffic, the red car is getting a move on, but the dark coloured one is going a little slower. So I'm hoping the darker coloured car is going to slow me down enough so that we don't die. That would always be a good thing. I'm thinking about what the thumbnail of this video is going to be, and it's probably going to be one of the bits where I'm having to wrestle it to stop it from crashing. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. But otherwise, on a road like this, sure, let Autopilot do its thing. You know what? It's great. On a nice, fast, sweeping road like this, Autopilot is very, very good at doing everything. It's just that it has to be this kind of road, and there has not to be any reasonable bends, because as we've seen, even in a 50 limit, it got it all wrong and I was almost up the curb. You know, this bend is actually reasonably tight for 60. So again, I'm ready to take over. The guy in front is slowing down a bit because I think he's catching up on the other vehicle. Yes, he is. And all right, so we've kind of gone around there, but you can see the amount of catch up that we've done with the traffic. So we've gone flying around there quicker than a human driver would have done. I would probably have slowed it down, I don't know, 55, maybe something like that. And now we're going to follow the guys in front. There were a few commentators who were really, really fascinated by me stress testing Autopilot and why I was doing it, but this is not the divided highway that Tesla, in its badly translated from English way, thinks that a motorway is. This is not that kind of a road. This, as you can see, is just a standard A-class road in the UK, N-class in other parts of Europe or whatever. It's a two-way highway, and you know what? This is fine. But the only reason it's fine is because the guy in front has set a sensible speed. I would have to set the speed at 55 or 50 and then maybe adjust it up and down to make it work like this. It's only adjusting its speed sensibly because it's following somebody else who is doing that. So the challenge that I was set about, can you stop intervening with Autopilot? This is why you have to intervene with Autopilot, because it lacks that human intuition, is the best way that I could describe it. I've just said there about a human driver would drive it like this, and a car does something else. That is the thing that's missing with it. It's just it is like a learner driver or a new driver. A new driver who is relatively low on hours driving on this kind of road and basically gets it wrong. It feels like that. It feels like it just hasn't got the same experience that I've got with my several decades of driving. Yeah, and it's true, it hasn't. I've been driving since 1994. So I've got a bit more experience than the car thinks that it has. Now, this is going to be interesting. So we're going to drop to 50, and we're going to drop to 50 a little bit slowly, but again, I'm following the guy in front. And this is going to spoil it, because what it's going to do is, as we go up here and we get to a switched speed limit, yeah? So you see the 20 on the pole. That is not the speed limit because the lights are not flashing, okay? But it's gone to 20. And with the way that Autopilot sets speed, unless you do something to overrule it, it will now think the speed limit is 20 and it will only let you do 20 miles an hour on Autopilot. So what's it going to do here? And the answer is nothing. I'm not quite sure what it was going to do there. How far towards the objects in the road would it have gone before intervening? Because I was going reasonably directly towards the traffic light pole, which was immediately in front, in the middle of the carriageway, and it was still going. Autopilot doesn't know how to react to things like this. It's just slowing me down now, and it would have stopped neatly behind the sign. right? It would have stopped. It would have parked me behind the sign. It's now gone to a 30 limit, and I don't know where he's got the 30 from, because we haven't had that, but we're about to go back to 60, and it's read the 60. My max speed has been increased up to 60, so that's much better. We're not going to do anything like that now because we're behind a truck, and great, the truck will slow us down even more. So once again, we're going to drive along here on autopilot, following other traffic with a human driver, and because of that, we're not going to die. If autopilot was doing its own thing and hurled me along here at 60 with scant regard for the bends, then there is a bigger chance of death, especially as we come into the heavily tree-lined section of the road a bit further up. So, if I was doing 60 around here, you can actually do 60 around here, and I have done, but it's a bit pushing the envelope. We're doing 54, and it's much better, but the reason we're doing 54 is that is the safe speed for the truck, and it's much better. The vehicles in front really do act in a kind of useful way. Maybe that's what's needed to make autopilot work properly on this kind of road. You need to send somebody out in front, a pilot man, right, in another vehicle, to set a safe speed with a human driving, so that the robot car behind it can actually then follow at a safe speed. It's a bit like the very, very early days of motoring, when you would have a man having to walk along carrying a flag to warn people of the mechanical charabanc thing which was coming along the track towards them. Send somebody in front, clear the path, and then you can go along in relative calm and comfort. That is what we have now. See? Following behind a truck. Really good. Really relaxing. I don't need to worry about having to try and get past the guy, because actually he's not only not really going that slowly, but he's actually doing a safe speed for autopilot. So yay truck. Let's have more trucks. We're still getting curvature assist, even though we're down to truck speed and it's safe for the truck to go around the bend at this speed. I'm still getting curvature assist. And look at the speed we're down to, 30, 27. What's it doing? There's nothing behind me, but what's it doing? It's down to 20 miles an hour. What is that? Oh, please. Honestly, autopilot really is like a drunk learner driver. Yeah? A drunk learner driver. That's probably the best way of describing it. Well, there it is. I've done what I was asked to do, which is just stick autopilot on, stop intervening, stop faffing with the speed, and let the car do its thing. And I did. And it's bad. Bad. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed that more than I did. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did, and hit the bell icon for the next time I try and accidentally have the car murder me. And I will see you back here very soon, hopefully, maybe, on the Tesla question.